Hello and welcome again to another one of my Art Corner videos. My name is Mr. Ricky Stevens, if you didn't know already, and I'm very happy that you decided to join me today. So today I'm going to be taking you through the process of a very special project. This was for a very close friend of mine, in fact my best friend. Her name on Twitch is AnnaPlaysStuff. You can also find her on Instagram and TikTok, and I will be linking all of those down below. This was a profile picture that she commissioned me to do, and it was a very important profile picture in my eye, given the fact that Anna is actually transgendered. And I wanted to create a profile picture that really showed who she truly was. And she is currently going through the transitioning process, so I wanted to show her as she truly is, and maybe not how she is currently, but what she will one day eventually become, which is this very tough, very beautiful woman. And I'm very happy with the design that we landed on, but it wasn't easy because I was very almost overly cautious when it came to drawing this figure, because I didn't want to take it too far and make it overtly sexual, and I didn't want to do too little and just make it look bland or not flattering in a way. You know, just didn't want to be too conservative, but also didn't want to be too liberal with everything. So eventually, after about 20 or 30 drafts of it, I eventually just contacted Anna and said, hey, you know, I'm trying to do this with your profile picture and show you as, you know, the woman that you really are on the inside, and I want to help bring that out, and I'm really worried about not doing it right. And they were so patient with me, and I'm very thankful for that. They talked with me throughout the whole process until eventually we landed on a design that both me as the designer and her as the client both really agreed with. So after sketching it, I took it into Adobe Illustrator, as I usually do with my art projects, more of my digital art projects, and I live traced the line artwork. Now the reason I do this is because it makes the line artwork a lot easier to work with. It makes it gives it a very stylized look that I particularly enjoy for my projects. And like I said, it's easier because I can just take the entire live traced image, I can copy it or save it in Illustrator as a PNG with a transparent background, and then just plop it in to my canvas. And I can resize it, stretch it, adjust it however I want. It just makes it a lot easier to work with rather than a loose sketch. So once that was done and I plopped it into Photoshop, I started coloring in the background just on a separate layer. And just a couple of notes on the design for this character, now that we've seen, you know, some of the colors bringing these things to life, is the costume that I chose is a combination of three things. A combination of Sally Mae inspired looks, and also a screenshot that Anna sent me of her Fallout 4 character. So just took some design elements from there, specifically kind of like the more rustic, kind of loosely put together look. And then the shirt and coat are actually inspired by Soviet World War II uniforms, specifically the Night Witches in the shirt, and of course with the Kalashnikov as well. So now what you're seeing is just me working on the face, and just like the previous digital art piece that you saw with Junebug TCG's art piece, I took 3 different shades of this skin tone and just played around with the colors until I got what I was comfortable with, and I made 3 different tones, one for a little bit more blush, one a little bit more lighter, and then just a darker one for shadowing, and then I just blended them all together just so it evenly goes across the face. We're not looking for a cut, more stylized look in terms of coloring. I'm just wanting these nice smooth gradients to really show just all the different I guess, you know, the cheekbones, the definitions of the chin, nose, all that. Same thing with the eye as well. I did have to change one thing about the eye once the project was all done, and that was just due to just some afterthought from Anna. You know, she thought about it. She said, you know what? I don't really enjoy the larger eyes. It's just something that is not me, and that's totally understandable because that's just a stylized thing that I do. Obviously, if a person I'm doing a project for is not a big fan of it, of course I'm going to change that. So I did. I shrunk the eye down a little bit, and also instead of having the one eye wink there, I did open that eye up. And yeah, that was just a couple of just last minute changes afterwards. You won't see them reflected in this video because at that point I'd already completed everything, or thought we were completed at that point, but that's neither here nor there. Either way, the whole profile turned out amazing. So at this point, you're also looking at me coloring in the hair. Now, Anna's hair has this great range of red tones. It goes from like a dark, almost brown maroon red at the base where the roots are, and then it gets brighter and brighter. It's almost as a gradient all the way up to a nice kind of like a scarlet red, not like a blood red, but more of a scarlet red. And so what I did was I did a very dark sort of almost maroon brown-ish base coat, and then as you can see here, I'm putting in these tiny little hair follicles, almost like I'm sketching the color on top. And here we're also putting in these different curves and waves showing where all these different hair follicles are going to lie. And then later on you're going to see me put in another color, which is going to be a more of a brighter red color, and this is just to add a little bit of vibrance to it, and also to help build the shape of the hair, just having these multiple colors. And I think I maybe used a fourth, yeah I did, I used a fourth color as well, purple as well. When you're dealing with something like hair, there's so many different colors that you need to consider, because you have, like, you know, the roots, and then you have an underlayer, then you have the hair that's on top that gets affected by the sun, especially if it's in summertime. And then you have colored hair as well that can have these different tones. Even something as simple as, you know, blonde hair has all these different color tones in them that you have to account for. And then there's also the shading too. Yeah, that's right. There's not only the color tones, but also the shades just from where the light is hitting. Honestly, hair, it seems complicated, but honestly, because of how many colors are involved, it's almost freeing, because you're just kind of building it on the fly, and just, you know, okay, I think I need a little more darkness there, I need a little more red there, more vibrance here. Oh, then of course, and afterwards, once I got all the colors on that I want, I just went in with a blending tool and then just blended it all together to smoothen it out. And I'm just putting some white polka dots on top of the bandana there. And now at this point, we're throwing in the highlights and shadows, and the process of that is I just put on a brightness and contrast mask. Very simple. You can see it on the right hand side there on all these different layers, and I select the mask directly, I color it all in with black, and then I take a paintbrush with white, and then I start picking out where I want these highlights to actually show through. And I always do 2 different layers for both the highlights and the shadows. I go with a setting of 100 brightness and then 150 brightness, and then I just do the same but in reverse for shading, going -100 and then 150. And this allows me to just account for all the different tones that we might see, from just, you know, soft lighting, hard lighting, or direct lighting and reflections, to soft shadows and hard shadows from, like, you know, being behind a corner, or a shadow is casted upon somebody, that sort of thing. So, and it's all on a very soft brush, just to almost suggest where the shadows go, and then I just bring it in. And it's pretty much intuitive at this point, really. There's not a lot of hard thought going in. It's just having an idea of where the sunlight's going to be hitting, and then dropping in all the highlights. Later on, you're going to also see the finalized version of it, which will have a background into it. And for that background, I literally just looked up a screenshot of Fallout 4, live traced it, and then adjusted the colors to create a background with a complementary color palette to Anna's profile here, and to help it make the figure pop instead of sucking it into the background, because the background is, you know, really busy with, you know, these trees and all this fallen debris everywhere. So I muted it and just kind of brought it back a little bit, and you're about to see that in a few seconds here, or after I put the dirt on there. Oh god, there's actually one more step here, which is adding dirt and grime. I keep forgetting that whenever I try and record this. But yeah, then we also have dirt here. Anna requested, you know, if we're gonna have a profile picture of a character that's set in this kind of post-apocalyptic nuclear fallout timeline, then they're gonna get some dirt on them, you know, scavenging for whatever they can. So for this, I just put another layer on top of everything else except for the shaders, just on top of the base colors, and then I just put in, you know, some browns and you know, just all these different shades of brown in there just to make all this different dirt and muck and grime. I really focused a lot on the jacket, specifically the cuffs. Personally, I find that, you know, if you're going to be, you know, digging through some muck or something like that, your sleeves are going to get the most dirt on them, and I think that's the part that really made it convincing for me, is when I saw the sleeves that had all the dirt on them on the cuffs. It's like, okay, yeah, that's where we need to go. I think I did a little bit too much on the face at first, and then I did take it back. I put a little bit too much dirt, went too far, and then I just took it back. But that's simple because we got all this amazing technology that previously I was like, bah, it's too perfect, it's too automatic, it doesn't have heart. No, I was very wrong. Digital art is it takes a lot of talent. It's just a tool, just like anything else, and it takes talent to really grasp the tool and make it do these amazing things that just make people look at it and go, wow, how'd they do that? How'd they do that? Anyways, that's about to bring us to close, or if not the very end of the video. I want to thank you for joining me today and listening to me ramble on about this art project, which I am very proud of. And please be sure to check out the description and check out those links. Follow AnnaPlaysStuff on Twitch and follow her on Instagram and TikTok. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. If you enjoy the type of content that I produce and would like to support my work, please consider heading on over to merch.streamelements.com/MrRickyStevensArt. There you can find t-shirts and hoodies with my artwork on them. So consider checking it out. Again, that is merch.streamelements.com/MrRickyStevens_art.